I'll take the smarter one, so you can raise the stupid one. One day, my sister vanished, leaving her twin children behind. Shunned by our parents and having been estranged from the family, I was suddenly called by them. They told me to take in one of my sister's children. My stepmother declared that she didn't want the twin sister, who had disabilities and was problematic. That's right. Since the twin older sister is smart, let's have her live with us. Pushing the twin younger sister onto me, my stepmother and father decided to take in only the twin older sister, who was known for her excellence in elementary school as well. Discussing in front of the children who is wanted and who isn't is just too cruel. I thought about how vulgar my parents were as I reluctantly agreed to their proposal. Okay. I will gladly raise the younger one. My stepmother, displeased with my calm response, snorted and turned away, saying, "You'll regret it later. Make sure you pamper her," and left those words behind. My father sneered through his nose, "Just right, useless ones suit each other." Angered by my parents' unbelievable attitude, I maintained my composure without showing my feelings. Later, I received frantic calls from my distressed stepmother. "My name is Lucy White. I am 25 years old and work part-time at a pub. My father, Jason, runs a foreign insurance company. He was always busy with work and rarely at home. Since I could remember, my mother was often ill, and she passed away when I was 5 years old. 3 years later, my father remarried a woman who had a divorce and a child. The woman my father brought home to be our new mother was decked out in makeup and designer clothes, quite flashy. Although she was the complete opposite of my mother. As a young child, I was thrilled to have a new mother and sister. My stepmother had a daughter named Samantha, 5 years my senior. Samantha was a bright and kind girl. Seeing my flushed face and nervousness, she gently took my hand and spoke to me kindly. "Lucy, nice to meet you. From now on, please call me Sammy." Relieved by my sister's warm hand and smile, I instantly adored her from the moment we met. However, contrary to my excited feelings, my father and stepmother, Diana, favored her own daughter and neglected me, treating me as insignificant. Whenever I approached to play with my sister, my stepmother glared at me like a demon. "Lucy, don't bother Samantha. Just go play by yourself over there." Also, whenever I spilled food or made a small mistake, she would become hysterically angry, so I was always nervous around my stepmother. Oh my, I hate an incompetent child. "Lucy, you really are a useless slowpoke." Each time I heard my stepmother's harsh words, I felt pained and often cried secretly alone. My father never reprimanded her behavior, preferring to avoid trouble and turning a blind eye. Moreover, my father, showing no interest in me, would say in annoyance, "Don't bother your capable sister," making me feel utterly out of place. Thus, I grew increasingly unable to get along with my sister in front of our parents. And as I grew older, my stepmother's treatment towards me only escalated. A woman needs to be beautiful and smart. If you look plain, no one will love you. Even parents can't give love to a child who looks bad. She would coldly say these spiteful words loud enough for me to hear. Indeed, I was plain-looking and mediocre in both studies and sports. Just an average child, while my sister had a glamorous aura and was famously beautiful in our neighborhood. It's no wonder everyone's attention was on her, even my father, who often said, "What matters more to this house is usefulness, not blood relation. We don't need the useless, even if they're related by blood." While hurt by my parents' disdain for my existence, my sister Samantha was the only one who secretly got along with me behind our parents' backs. We even started a secret diary exchange to share our worries and school happenings that we couldn't tell our parents. This secret surely deepened the bond between us sisters. Although burdened by our parents' expectations, my sister was busy with lessons and cram schools, yet she often told me how our diary exchange was a relief for her. Later, as my sister, who was excellent in academics, beautiful, and athletically gifted, was favored, she went on to attend a prestigious private girls' school. Even though I wanted to go to college. We only need children who can be number one. It's a waste of money if you can only get into a third-rate university. We have no money to waste on a failure like you, they said, as my sister excelled. And I left home right after high school graduation due to the uncomfortable atmosphere. It wasn't that my family lacked money. My stepmother often splurged on designer brands, and my father drove luxury cars. It just seemed that my father didn't want to spend money on me. The savings my biological mother had left for me when she passed away were also taken by my parents, leaving me practically penniless. Life after leaving home was modest. Living in a 50-year-old wooden apartment and making ends meet. However, my mind felt much more at ease compared to when I was treated as a nuisance at home. My family knew that my life wasn't easy as I worked part-time and made a living day by day. Naturally, there was no financial support from my family, and my parents would say, with no academic background and no decent job. Just part-time work, you're a disgrace to our family. Don't even think of relying on your family if something happens. You're useless, so don't contact us. We're cutting off our parent-child relationship. Yeah, really. I don't want to be thought of as family. It's embarrassing. Don't ever enter this house again, they spat out, but my sister alone supported me. Lucy, you are independent and doing great. You'll surely achieve your dreams. While working part-time at the pub, I diligently saved money, determined to go to college and get a qualification in childcare. Having experienced loneliness and hardship as a child, I wanted to become an adult who could empathize with children. Thus, I was working hard towards my goals. Meanwhile, my sister, who seemed to have a smooth-sailing life from the outside, had no freedom due to our parents' excessive expectations, and was set to marry a man chosen by them. The marriage partner was a salesman at my father's company, whom my father favored and liked, making it essentially a marriage of convenience. My sister's fiancé, liked by my father for his obsequiousness, was self-centered and arrogant around others, not exactly a person of good personality. Personality? That doesn't matter. What's important is whether he's beneficial to our company. Nice guys are no good. If they can't become ruthless when necessary, they can't lead people. Saying that, my father had chosen this man, whom he trusted in business, to be my sister's spouse. I have no choice. Both my stepfather and mother see me as nothing but a tool for themselves, my sister said with a sorrowful expression and sighed resignedly. That's. Sammy, are you okay? Yeah. I'm used to it now. Resisting here is pointless. Lucy, how about you? Are you okay? Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. I was extremely worried about my sister, but she seemed concerned about me too. Thus, my sister married Howard, a man 5 years her senior, chosen by our parents. My sister's husband was even more ambitious after marrying her. Of course, I wasn't invited to the wedding, and it seemed that the relatives gathered were told I was studying abroad. It was just like my parents to care about appearances. Before long, I heard that my sister had given birth to twins. But having left home on my own, I couldn't see her in front of my parents. However, my sister occasionally kept me updated, and I hoped to meet the twin children someday. In her messages, my sister mentioned that her husband was always busy with work and rarely at home, showing little interest in both the children and her. My husband is always coming home late, so it's mostly solo parenting. Raising children is tough, but both daughters are really adorable. They're twins, but their personalities are completely different. The twins' names are Tracy and Ashley. I bet they're adorable. Maybe they look like their mom, Samantha. I imagine my nieces I've yet to meet and can't help but smile. At this time, I learned that one of the twins has a particular trait. Then time passed, and after 7 years of no contact, my stepmother suddenly reached out. Come home right now. Immediately. My stepmother summoned me brusquely, without even asking how I've been. When I rushed home, I saw the twins holding stuffed animals of different colors. Both were pale with big, round eyes, looking just like dolls. Who are these kids? I hesitantly asked my mother, and she said, they are Samantha's children. She suddenly disappeared, and we're in trouble. I was told by my stepmother and father that my sister had vanished, leaving me speechless. Could such a thing be true? Samantha always cared deeply for the twins. Abandon her children? It was hard to believe Samantha would do that, but now, I had to prioritize the twins. Her husband, Howard, was on a business trip abroad and couldn't take care of the kids. It's unbelievable, isn't it? To leave the children and just go. But now that it's come to this, we have to raise them ourselves. Lucy, you need to help too. We're family. Despite our long estrangement, my parents forcefully pushed the conversation. I can't take care of both of them. Especially Tracy, she doesn't make eye contact, and I can't tell what she's thinking. She doesn't seem cute to me at all. I don't want the foolish one. I'll take the smart one, so Lucy, you take care of the foolish one. My stepmother declared she didn't want Tracy, the twin with disabilities and problematic behavior, and made a face of disdain. The smart and adorable Ashley will live with Grandma and Grandpa. Do you want anything? She spoke sweetly to Ashley, who looked uneasy with tears in her eyes. That's right. Ashley is smart, so let's have her live with us. My stepmother and father decided to only take in Ashley, known for her excellence in elementary school as well, pushing Tracy onto me. It was cruel to discuss who is wanted and who isn't in front of the children. I thought about how vulgar my parents were as I willingly accepted the proposal. Okay, I got it. I will gladly raise Tracy. My stepmother, displeased with my calm response, snorted and turned away. You'll regret it later. Just make sure you take good care of her. Ha, the useless are perfect for each other, my father said with a sneer. I was angry at my parents' unbelievable attitude but kept my composure. I had been in secret contact with Samantha just before she disappeared, and knew about the situation. Tracy struggled with communication and was particular about certain things. Tracy, I'm Lucy, your mom's sister. Let's live together until Mom comes back. I crouched down to Tracy's level and spoke slowly. Tracy was more defensive than I imagined, expressionless, and didn't make eye contact or respond. It was understandable. For Tracy, having her mother suddenly disappear, and then meeting her aunt for the first time would be confusing. My stepmother looked on and sneered maliciously, as if to say, I knew it. Despite Tracy not speaking, I brought her to my home. She was always clutching her stuffed animal and seemed wary of me. Wondering how to get closer to her, I remembered from Samantha that Tracy loved omelets. So I decided to make her favorite omelet. Tracy is particular and only eats what she likes. When I placed the omelet in front of her, her eyes sparkled, and she quickly started eating. I gently interacted with her and talked about memories with her mom. Your mom and I used to keep a diary exchange. Do you understand what a diary exchange is? Yeah. Mom liked writing letters. Tracy gradually started to talk to me about Samantha, and I was overjoyed that she was opening up to me. Seeing Tracy endure this situation without shedding a tear, even as a child, made my heart tighten. A few days later, my stepmother repeatedly called me persistently. Lucy, why aren't you answering the phone? When I answered, my stepmother ranted furiously. What's wrong? It's not just something wrong. I got stuck with a dud. Did you know from the beginning? A dud? Are you talking about Ashley? Yes. Ashley is just a grade schooler. Not understanding my stepmother's meaning, I was puzzled. And my stepmother grew more irritated. I took her in thinking she would be a more useful child. She's useless at best. My stepmother raised her voice. Before Samantha disappeared, my stepmother had heard about their daughter succeeding in stock trading, thinking it was thanks to Ashley, but it was actually Tracy. In fact, Tracy was gifted with a high predictive ability for things like stock trading. Gifted means someone born with high intelligence or exceptional abilities. A gift from God, hence the term. My stepmother, who left the stock trading to Ashley, not understanding it well, had lost most of their fortune. She had told Ashley to treat it like a game and just do what she wanted, sitting her in front of the computer. Ashley, not understanding, played around and ended up causing a huge mess. It's Ashley's fault for the huge loss. It's the worst. I'll swap Tracy for her, so hand Tracy over quickly. How can you say that? Children aren't objects. I can't hand Tracy over to someone who calls her useless or a dud. Angry, my stepmother demanded I hand over Tracy, but I firmly refused. It was my first time standing up to my stepmother. It was despicable to separate the twins for their convenience and now, for money, demand to swap children. I felt an unbelievable strength surge within me as my face flushed with anger. Oh, if that's how you feel, remember this. My stepmother shrieked in a shrill voice, clearly furious. She threatened to report to Child Services that I was abusing Tracy, blustering excitedly. Still, I decided to take both Tracy and Ashley and become their mother. There was no doubt left. I was ready to use all my savings for becoming a childcare worker to face this challenge. With these savings, I can raise the children. I can't leave Tracy and Ashley with such people. I bolstered myself with these words. Just then, Tracy, who had witnessed and understood the whole situation, suddenly grasped my hand. Tracy, it's going to be okay. I squeezed her hand back reassuringly. Tracy looked intently into my eyes, as if to convey something, and gently pulled out a letter that had been inside her always carried stuffed animal. This letter is. It's from Mom. A week later, summoned by my stepmother and father, I arrived accompanied by a lawyer. My stepmother had also called. The company's legal advisor and my sister's husband, Howard. Have you made up your mind? We'll be taking Tracy. That's right. Stop your futile resistance. As my stepmother and the others tried to regain custody of Tracy. With a triumphant look, I showed them a letter. They gasped softly, their eyes widening, and I could see their faces pale instantly. The letter contained evidence of embezzlement, tax evasion, and other crimes committed by my stepmother, father, and sister's husband. Secretly given to the daughter by my sister. Why do you have this? My stepmother exclaimed loudly. I know everything. What you all did is criminal. I spoke calmly and quietly. The embezzlement and tax evasion were discovered by my sister, so you planned to. Tears welled up as I spoke, uncertain of my sister's whereabouts. Tracy, if anything happens to me, give this letter to my sister Lucy. My sister had entrusted the letter to Tracy. In fact, the last communication from my sister was about how her husband, father, and mother were trying to silence her as she was close to uncovering the truth. Feeling threatened, she had asked me, if I disappear, please take care of the kids. You are the only one I trust. At the time, I couldn't believe such a thing could happen. But her disappearance confirmed the truth. However, since my sister vanished, I hadn't been able to learn the details. Tracy, also aware of her mother's words, had been searching for someone to reveal the truth to. Thus, she entrusted me with the evidence. I had gained Tracy's trust, received the evidence, and contacted the police. Lucy, you will help me, right? I was opposed to this. My stepmother suddenly cooed in a soothing tone. Lucy, are you really going to turn your parents into the police? You're not that heartless, are you? We're family, we should help each other. My father pleaded, flustered. Sitting silently beside him, Howard suddenly spoke up. Just to be clear, I'm not involved. It was all the president's doing. My father, infuriated by Howard's attempt to disassociate himself, slammed his fist on the table. What? After all this, you're trying to pin everything on me. You're the one who led me into this. Basically, it's because you messed up that Samantha found out, right? This is why you can't rely on stubborn old men. What did you say? After all the care I've shown you, you forget your debts to me, you bastard. What are you talking about? It's business. I've been keeping you happy, haven't I? Damn it. What a person. As my father and Howard continued their ugly shouting match, I signaled. And the police, who had been hidden, appeared and arrested the three. Please atone for your sins. I will take responsibility and raise Tracy and Ashley. I declared my intention to also take Ashley, though it might not reach the three self-centered villains. A year later, I am living while raising the twins. My father and Howard were arrested and will be under police care for a while. Naturally, the company went bankrupt. It turned out that Howard had first suggested the embezzlement and tax evasion as the company faced financial instability. Realizing this, my sister appealed to my father, who initially agreed to turn himself in. But after discussing it with Howard, they decided to get rid of her as she was in the way. They drugged her food with sleeping pills, and after making her sleep, threw her into the sea to make it look like an accident. Just thinking about it drains my blood. A life insurance policy worth $2 million had even been taken out on my sister. And it seems they had planned to collect the insurance money in some form if their other schemes failed. How can someone do such cruel things? Although my mother was spared actual prison time, she became known as part of a criminal family. As a result, she has no place to find employment or live comfortably, moving from place to place like a homeless person, I heard. My sister was rescued by someone night fishing and, fortunately, survived, though she was initially unconscious, without any identification and no missing person report from her family. It took the police a while to find her. When I received the call that my sister was alive, I can't describe how relieved I was. Tracy, who had never shown tears, cried out loud when she reunited with her sister. It truly was a relief. My sister, once connected to a ventilator, thankfully had no lasting effects, and is now focusing on rehabilitation to regain her strength. It won't be long until she is discharged. Visiting my miraculously surviving sister with the twins has become a daily routine. The twins have grown quite attached to me, and we live happily each day. Lucy, thank you so much. It's all thanks to you. From now on, let's live freely. Freed from our toxic parents, my sister and I can finally walk our own paths. We brought a drawing of Mom, the twins cheerfully say in unison. Their lively presence bringing joy to my sister and me as we savor these peaceful days. My sister has decided to divorce her husband and plans to live with the twins and me after her discharge. As for how we are doing, since then, Tracy has told me she wants to return the favor and started trading stocks. Her abilities are remarkable, and she quickly made a fortune. Thanks to that, we can now afford to live in a high-rise apartment. Once my sister returns, I plan to attend the university I've always dreamed of and obtain my childcare qualification. As spring approaches, I eagerly await this new chapter.